Why are we not in orbit around the planet?
These are the coordinates we were sent. Incoming communication from the VSF St. Jude, sir.
Put it on screen. This is Captain Hollis of the VSF Blessings.
This is Captain Benedict. Thanks for meeting us out here. Let me bring you up to speed quickly. The peace agreement between the Jaqual and the Fendorians did not go as planned. Not long after the opening ceremonies started, 4 armed Jaqual ships came out of warp above the planet, beamed their envoy up, and opened fire on the planet.
I thought both sides had agreed to a ceasefire.
It would appear that was only true one way. We were warned to back away or be caught in the crossfire. We are a diplomatic starship with limited weaponry. We had no choice but to comply.
And is the Vatican peace envoy on board your ship?
Unfortunately, no. They are still down on the planet's surface. The Jaqual set up an interference field in the planet's mesosphere, which is inhibiting transporters.
And Archbishop Morgan?
He's with the envoy on the planet as well.
Do you know where he is? How many are in his party?
The last we heard, he was in a hangar west of the capital city. Communications have been cut off too. There were 7 people, including him.
Brother Matthias, do you know where that is?
Already working on it, Captain.
You can't go down there, Captain. You'll be obliterated.
The VSF Blessings isn't your regular Aerie-class ship, and we've faced worse, or at least just as bad. Do you have anything else helpful to share with us?
We've noticed their weapons take time to re-energize between uses.
Then timing is everything. Blessings out.
I have found the hangar, sir. It appears to have taken minimal damage. The orbiting ships blasted the center of the city first and are working their way out.
How much time do you think we have so we can get to them?
Not much, measured in tens of minutes perhaps.
Captain Hollis to all crew. We are about to embark on a risky mission to save Archbishop Morgan and his team from a planet-side bombardment. I'm open to ideas, but here is what I'm thinking. Brother Matthias, I've seen you do some wild practice simulations of planetary entries. They were at breakneck speeds. We're about to put that to the test. I want to warp in as close to the planet as you dare risk, and then dive into the atmosphere like a madman, below the transporter interference in the mesosphere. Be ready to go deeper, if necessary.
Aye, sir. I'll do my best.
Brother Patrick, keep us together. Keep our shields strong, and give Brother Matthias the power he needs to maneuver.
Aye, sir.
Brothers Ethan and Thomas, I want you 2 in the transporter room. Brother Ethan, you transport their party of 7 on board as quickly as possible.
Yes, sir.
Brother Thomas, you get them off the transporter pad swiftly for the next bunch to beam on board. Take care of any medical needs as well.
Absolutely, sir.
May God steer us straight and sure to rescue our colleagues and help us navigate a path of peace for both these peoples. Now let's do this. VSF Blessings, a Star Trek fan production. We may live in a broken world, a broken universe. There is good and evil, right and wrong, light and dark. But we can be the good. We can do what's right. We can be the light. And we can do it in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Diving into the atmosphere at maximum speed now.
Can we push any harder?
Systems are holding. We can push maybe 10% more.
It's going to get rough.
Adjusting inertial dampeners to compensate.
The Jaqual ships have noticed. One is moving our way and trying to lock on weapons.
Almost past the mesosphere.
Still too much interference to detect the Archbishop and others.
Punching through now.
Searching for their comm signals. I think I found them. That's them. Captain Hollis to Archbishop Morgan.
Jeremiah, it's so good to hear your voice.
How many to beam up? We don't have much time.
There are 12. We're all here close together. Should be easy to identify.
Captain, I'm locked onto them.
Captain Benedict said the Jaqual ships take time to recharge their weapons. Lower shields, Brother Matthias, so we can beam them aboard.
Commencing with first group now.
Brother Matthias, swing a wide arc around the area. Let's monitor to see if they're about to fire again. We cannot take a hit with shields down.
Second group energizing now.
They're firing on the hangar.
Get between them and the hangar. Raise...
We've got the third group in the transporter buffer. That's all of them.
Raise shields. Get us out of here.
Aye, sir.
The hangar was destroyed.
A second ship is locking onto us.
They're firing. How are we holding up, Brother Patrick?
We'll make it, Captain. Our shields are still strong.
Good, let's keep them that way.
Captain Hollis, your timing is as impeccable as your approach is unorthodox. Can we outrun the Jaqual ships in the Blessings?
We have an open comm channel to all crew. Brother Patrick, did you hear Archbishop Morgan's question?
Yes, and yes, I believe so. Both on impulse and warp speed.
And can the St. Jude outrun them too?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem.
What are you thinking?
We need to distract some of these ships from bombarding the planet. If we can peel off just one or two, lives may be saved. And I have just the bait.
I have the computer extracting the temporal signatures from my transport pattern recorded in the lab on Mars.
Didn't Archbishop Morgan's team already do that, Dr. Hollis?
Yes, they did. I tweaked the algorithm a bit based upon what I learned from their results.
Living up to your reputation of being thorough, I see.
I didn't know I still had a reputation after 20 years.
I've read your personnel files.
Those are some thorough personnel files.
Plus, I spoke to some of your old colleagues. I couldn't let someone in my labs without a thorough review.
I would expect no less. The work done here is fascinating and groundbreaking. I'm just happy to occupy my little corner to figure out what happened to me. Thank you.
Figuring that out could have direct application to transporter technology.
That's what everyone is hoping.
You know, your disappearance all those years ago had a major impact upon the temporal studies department. New stricter safety protocols were implemented after the entire works was shut down and thoroughly reviewed.
I'm sorry for that.
You were the innocent victim, but when a prominent scientist goes missing after an accident at your lab, the higher-ups notice.
So you were here 20 years ago?
I've been here 25 years. Time flies at temporal studies, as they say.
Would I be allowed to see what experiments were being run that day, including the equipment used?
That might be possible. Let me see what's available and can be cleared for you to see.
Thank you, Dr. Egan. I would greatly appreciate that.
Captain, the lead Jaqual starship is hailing us.
Good. On screen. This is Captain
What
Jur.
are you doing, Captain? Are you mad? Streaking through the atmosphere in the middle of war? What were you up to down on that planet?
No, I'm not mad, but I am angry. My people were on the surface when you opened fire upon the planet. I took the measures necessary to get them out of harm's way.
Now that you've done that, leave. Now.
Gladly. But before we do, can you tell me why you broke your ceasefire? Your leaders seem to make such earnest efforts.
The Fendorians have become such a stupid, gullible people. Our leaders smile, nod their heads, and say the right things, and the Fendorians believe it all. Such useful idiots. All while we plot their swift annihilation.
But you signed ceasefire agreements.
Which are not worth the paper they are printed on. There can be no legitimate agreement of any kind between the Jaqual and Fendorians.
So you rain destruction from above, killing men, women, and children. For revenge? Is that it?
You know what they did to my people for generations, human. You know they used us and stole so many of our precious resources. You know how they lied to us. So many starved and died as a result.
Sadly, yes, I know this. I also know in the last 3 generations, they have striven to make amends the best they can. The Fendorians negotiated in earnest.
As we knew they would, which was our greatest weapon against them. Now, they shall feel what we have felt. They will beg for our help, if any survive. They will receive the same help they gave us. None.
I'm truly sorry it has come to this, General Wender. It hurts me for both your peoples.
We don't need nor want your pity.
What you have are our prayers.
It's time for you to leave, Blessings.
Gladly. But before we do, I want to introduce you to the guests we'll be taking with us. As you can see to my right here, we have Fendorian President Vaskar and his council behind me. We will be making our exit.
No! Hand them over immediately!
No, we most assuredly will not be doing that. You'll have to take them if you want them. End communication. Brother Matthias, get us out of here. Slow start as we discussed. We don't have to let them know we can easily outrun them. That's for them to figure out on their own.
Aye, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen, for taking this responsibility upon your shoulders. I am sorry things have devolved so much.
The loss of life happening right this very moment is staggering, Mr. President.
General Wender's ship is pursuing us.
As we hoped, they can't destroy the planet if they are trying to destroy us instead.
That still leaves 3 starships above the planet firing upon my people.
What we just learned will strengthen my call to Starfleet to intervene. That ceasefire was not as worthless as General Wender thought. So blatantly defying it, with the Vatican diplomatic services in the middle, largely counteracts the prime directive objections Starfleet may have. If I fail, which I don't think I will, I have a plan B. Mind if we use your ready room, Captain Hollis?
Not at all. Make yourself at home.
President Vaskar, if you would join me, please.
Computer, start research log. This is Dr. Maria Hollis in the Daystrom Institute Temporal Studies Department Laboratory. It is stardate 44855.4. I've been here for a while already studying. Sorry, I almost forgot to record my activities log as promised. The temporal equipment from 20 years ago has been set up. They pulled it all out of storage soon after I materialized so unexpectedly in my satellite lab on Mars. They repaired what was damaged during the event back then so they could analyze it fully. I'm not allowed to do anything but observe and scan with my instruments. I am locked out of any controls. It would be a conflict of interest to have a castaway time traveler such as me directly accessing the equipment. There are temporal signatures being generated, but the temporal team has yet to figure out if they actually do anything. I'm currently running a comparative analysis with the temporal signatures extracted from my transport signal. Oh, I guess it's done. Now this is interesting. There's an 89% match. That's rather surprising. What about that remaining 11% though? Computer, visually represent the temporal signature of the equipment and overlay it onto a similar representation of my transporter signal's temporal signature. Place it on the wall display, please. The dissimilarities all lie within one quadrant of the temporal field. There must be a reason. A miscalibration? I wish I could access the controls. Not an option, though, but something to ask Dr. Egan about. Something is different about that quadrant, though. When one has nothing else to go on, use your eyes. Let me see what that quadrant of emitters looks like. It looks like the other quadrants. This machine's emitters are arranged with radial symmetry. It is labeled as Quadrant L. Let's take a look at each emitter. L1, L2. L3, L4. Scanning through each one visually. Hold on. L14 looks different. It sticks out a little more. It's not fully seated in its fitting. I wonder if I gave it a little push. There now. Computer, rerun the comparative analysis with the temporal signatures extracted from my transport signal. This shouldn't take long since the baseline has already been processed.
100% match.
100%. Such precision is surprising, too. One misaligned emitter, L14, had an 11% impact. Amazing. Oh, bother. Come in.
I'm sorry, Dr. Hollis, but your time is up.
No problem, Brenda. May I come back again tomorrow?
I can make that work once more. Same time?
That will be perfect. Let me pack up my tricorder and a few other things.
What was that?
I'm not sure. It sounds like... Here it is. I think it was my old comm badge from 20 years ago. I keep it with me as a connection to the past, I guess. A good luck charm, perhaps. It doesn't work with today's communications system, though.
I've seen one of those in the Daystrom Institute Museum.
Ha ha ha. Funny thing is, this one is only a few months old from my perspective. In the blink of an eye, it is suddenly an antique.
I'm sorry, Dr. Hollis. I didn't mean to imply...
Don't worry about it, Brenda. My time travel predicament makes it weird for us all. I understand.
Thanks for that. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Wait, computer and research log.
That one was a little close.
Maybe we shouldn't let them think they can catch us quite so much, Brother Matthias.
Agreed. Increasing impulse power. And Phase 2 just commenced. A second Jaqual ship has left orbit around Fandora and is joining the pursuit.
That's one less starship attacking the planet's surface and more lives saved. Things will get a little trickier with 2 on our tail. Make sure one doesn't flank us.
Yes, sir. They aren't as maneuverable as we are, nor as fast as we can be. It shouldn't be a problem.
Still, we wouldn't want them to get in a lucky shot. Any luck in there, Your Grace?
It took some political brinksmanship and moral certitude, but we were successful.
The Archbishop was both masterful and a force to be reckoned with. We are forever in your debt.
I have done nothing but what is right, and so is Starfleet now. They are sending a starship to subdue the Jaqual ships. They're closer than I thought, and should be here shortly.
In the meantime, we continue our cat-and-mouse game until they figure us out.
Precisely. Every second of distraction saves lives.
If you don't mind me asking, where are the Fandorians' defensive starships?
We stood them down as part of the ceasefire in good faith. They were one of the first targets the Jaqual destroyed or severely damaged when they began attacking our planet. The ships were planet-side and powered down. They never stood a chance.
The diplomatic envoy advised against it, but the Fandorians were determined to put their best face forward.
A decision that will regretfully go down in history as the cause of this planetary calamity.
Not the cause, Mr. President. Others are responsible for the cause with their dastardly decisions and choices. Your decision removed the prevention.
The end result is the same.
Perhaps, but endeavoring to do the right thing wasn't wrong.
I have a Starfleet vessel inbound, Captain.
And not a moment too soon.
I'm not sure that I want to hear about all your adventures, Jeremiah. This mother's heart may not be able to handle it. You could have been killed.
Maybe I should edit them a bit, for your sake. I was used to being more unfiltered with Dad, I guess.
I know. There are certainly things a father and son can share that even a loving mother can't. I suspect the same is true of a mother and daughter relationship. Forget I said anything, though. I want to hear all your adventures, when you're allowed to share, of course.
I'm sure I'm overcompensating as well. I'm a grown man. I don't need to be telling my mommy everything.
20 years, remember? And not just 20 years of being gone. 20 years of thinking I was dead.
This isn't easy.
No one said it would be.
How goes the research? Found anything interesting?
It's going well so far. I got to observe and scan the original temporal equipment that caused all this. It was even powered up.
Powered up?
Yes, they set it up right after my reappearing act. I wonder if John had anything to do with that.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's always a step ahead. I don't know how he does it.
With God on his side.
I should have been the one to say that.
You don't have a monopoly on God, Father Jeremiah.
I guess not.
I'm going back tomorrow for one more session with the temporal equipment. Its signature matches what I extracted from my transport signal exactly, as if there were any doubt.
An exact match sounds promising. I wonder what findings tomorrow holds.
Who knows? How much longer will you be there?
We'll be breaking orbit and heading back tomorrow. Starfleet is here ensuring the safety of Fendora and helping formulate a recovery plan with their government. The Vatican is offering up aid as well.
This interstellar diplomatic thing was still a new initiative for the Church before my incident. I remember John talking about it.
He says it was by popular demand and not something the Church was necessarily pursuing. For the right parties, the Church is seen to bring the moral credibility and impartiality both sides want. It's funny how close two warring parties can be without even seeing it.
Too much time and energy is spent on the differences far too often.
An astute observation, Mom.
I have those sometimes. It'll be good to have you home again, son.
You make the word home sound so warm.
I know you may tire of hearing this, but thank you once again for helping my people.
You are quite welcome, President Vascar. Between the Federation and the Vatican diplomatic and charity functions, you are in good hands, I can assure you. I will continue to remember you in my prayers.
And we will do the same.
And with that, I think we are free to go, Captain.
Brother Matthias, set course to Earth, and let's get underway.
Aye, sir. Setting course.
Well played this week, Your Grace.
I wish I could say the loss of life was incomprehensible, but there are too many examples in this universe of far worse. By God's grace, we helped limit this one.
With the risk of sounding insubordinate, may I ask why we didn't return fire on the Jaqual ships? We've been able to handle more advanced ships than theirs. Couldn't we have saved more lives if we disabled more ships?
Brother Matthias, that is a very good question and an option that was weighed thoroughly, I assure you. First, the actions of the Jaqual were their choice, their chosen sins. With that said, we do still have a moral obligation to help all those we can, which may have required the offensive measures you suggest.
The Blessings and her crew have unfortunately had to defend ourselves far too many times. Thankfully, with the grace of God, we've survived and even disabled the opponent at times. The Blessings is faster and has better shields, but the Jaqual ships do have more powerful weapons, even if slow to fire. If we had taken them on and failed, or been destroyed, nothing would have stopped their mass genocide. The VSF St. Jude most certainly couldn't have.
But what about the Federation and Starfleet? It turned out they were relatively nearby.
Yes, which is why it was more important than ever to not return fire. Their prime directive has noble intentions behind it for good reason, but it doesn't always lead to the truly moral solution. Starfleet would not have wanted to interfere with these two non-Federation worlds' development.
I'm not following. Why was it important not to return their attack?
Because the Jaqual had signed a ceasefire, with the Vatican diplomatic corps in the middle agreeing to third-party intervention if one side broke the agreement. One side. If both sides, or even our side, engaged in battle, we could not call upon a third party for help.
And that is how you got Starfleet to help. It did not violate their prime directive because both sides had already agreed to it.
Yes, but it still took convincing. But what was right won in the end. It was a bloody math that I hope never to have to repeat. But the only way we could stop a mass genocide was to diplomatically wait, distract, get more capable help, and pray like never before.
The entire crew was doing that last part.
As was I.
While you're taking questions, Your Grace, how did you end up in the middle of this? You're not part of the Church's diplomatic corps anymore.
I was doing a favor for a colleague. The demand for their peacemaking services is greater than they have resources to deploy. This particular case was supposed to be a matter of formality with no surprises. I was mainly a figurehead. It gave me a chance to stretch my space legs on the VSF St. Jude as well, which is within my purview.
Pray to be ever ready for God's will even when it takes you by surprise.
A quote from St. Mary MacKillop. You were listening to me all these years, Jeremiah.
I was, but I think you already knew that.
I do, my boy, I do.
And now for our journey back home. We're not as roomy as the St. Jude was.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll have time to talk about some things.
What sort of things?
Well, when the Blessings swooped down and rescued us on Fendora, you and your crew had your hands full, not just operating the ship, but managing the people too.
We certainly did, but each man had his assigned duty and performed it well.
Oh, absolutely. And don't get the impression I'm saying anything different. You have a fine crew who work together and support each other very well, Captain. They've certainly proven that beyond doubt.
Thank you, Your Grace.
What would you think about having one more set of hands on board?
Are you volunteering?
Ha ha ha. If only that were possible. I would gratefully follow your lead, but regretfully no. I was thinking about someone else.
Do you have someone in mind?
No one at the moment, but I could certainly draw up a list of options if you would like. You are free to suggest candidates as well.
Another monk?
Not necessarily. As you know, a large portion of the Vatican space fleet is made up of the laity. It is atypical to have a crew made up entirely of religious.
Let me think about it a bit. And how about we compare notes on candidates later? The person would have to fit in with and complement the crew.
I completely agree. Once you have figured out the skill sets you need, please let me know so I can start my search as well.
I certainly will.
Computer, start research log. This is Dr. Maria Hollis again at the Daystrom Institute Temporal Studies Department Laboratory. It is stardate 44856.4. Dr. Brenda Addison just powered the temporal equipment back up. Now let's see how the readings compare to yesterday. Exactly the same as before. This equipment is consistent, I'll give it that. The big question is, what else can I learn from it? It's already been scanned with every relevant sensor available in this lab. I can't introduce any variables to it because I'm locked out of the controls. I thought about this all night and came up blank. I was hoping inspiration would strike this morning. What am I missing? There goes that old comm badge again. What's up with it, I wonder? The same thing happened yesterday. Here it is. While I'm scanning things, let's scan it too. Now this is interesting. It's receiving a homing signal. I thought this unit was outdated and incompatible with the Daystrom's latest communication protocols. Wait, this shouldn't be happening. The timestamp of the comm badge is out of sync. It's out of date by 20 years. The timestamp is the same day I disappeared those decades ago. Even curiouser is it is around an hour before it all happened. How is this possible? There's nothing in the scans to account for this. Comm badges function through... That's it. Subspace. Subspace was not part of the temporal equations used for the experiment. No one's thought of it. None of the scans run so far are looking for subspace. Computer, is there a subspace signal emanating from the temporal equipment?
Affirmative.
Computer, what is the nature of the subspace signal?
It is a standard communications protocol used by the Daystrom Institute prior to the latest upgrade.
And how long ago was this communications protocol used?
It was used between 11 and 35 standard Earth years ago.
The time frame is right. If a previously undetected subspace communications signal is coming through the temporal equipment, that explains why my old comm badge chirped both times it came near the equipment. The first time was after I fully seated emitter L14, and the readings matched my transport signal's temporal signature 100%. The second time was after the equipment was powered on right before I started this analysis. The comm badge was initializing with its newly found signal. This is big. Computer, is the subspace signal one-way or two-way through the temporal equipment?
It is currently one way.
You said currently one way. Could it travel both ways?
Affirmative.
No one expected me to find this. Here is a potential window back in time, right before my accident 20 years ago. The implications, the possibilities. What can be done with this? What should be done? Computer, could a message be sent back 20 years ago through this comm badge?
Affirmative.
I could warn myself to stay away from the transporter equipment. I could prevent this all from happening in the first place. Now get hold of yourself, Maria. There are ethical considerations, time paradoxes. You would potentially be changing everyone's history for the past 20 years, including your son's. What would the ripple effect be? Oh, bother. The clock is ticking down to when the accident occurs. This connection is to just about an hour before it all happened. Less now. This could be my only chance to do something. My hands are shaking. I am so desperately lonely here, in this time. Sure, I have Jeremiah, but he's not the boy I left behind. My dear James is gone. Even our friend John is somewhat different, more mature, more holy. My friends are still uneasy with my reappearance. Who could blame them? I'm uneasy with it too. I just wish it all never happened. That this was all a bad dream. What was it that Ebenezer Scrooge said? An undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of undone potato. Jeremiah practiced that line so many times for the school play. That play wasn't 20 years ago for me. It wasn't even a year ago. I'm so miserable. More miserable than words can convey. More miserable than I've wanted to admit before now. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would do it. But how? Computer, how much time is left between the subspace comm signal and my transporter accident?
49 minutes.
If I'm going to act, I need to act now. I could contact myself, but how would I explain that? Why would the old me believe it? I would think it was some kind of gag. No, it needs to be simple and effective. What could get me to leave and go home at a moment's notice? That's it. Where's that pad? I hope this works. There, it is sent. Computer, did the signal go back through?
Affirmative.
What in the world? What's happening?
Dr. Hollis, what have you done?
Maria, I understand you've been unceremoniously ejected from the Daystrom Institute's Temporal Studies Department. That took a lot of negotiating to get you there in the first place. What happened?
I've made a mess of it all, John. I have no one but myself to blame.
Let us help be the judge of that, Mom. The last we spoke, you were so eager to learn more about the temporal equipment and the accident.
I was excited and hopeful. I've gone from an accident to an incident now, though.
Let's step through this, shall we, Maria? Jeremiah said you were headed into the temporal laboratory this morning to see what else you could find.
Yes, and I found out more than I could handle.
I'm sorry, Mom. We're here for you now, and we'll be back on Earth soon. What did you find out?
Give me just a moment to collect my thoughts.
Take all the time you need, Maria.
Okay. Yesterday, in the lab, the research equipment was powered up and running. By design, I was locked out of the controls, so all I could do was observe, scan, and measure what the machine was doing. I compared its temporal signature to that extracted from my transport beam on Mars. It was not a complete match, with the deviation being isolated to a single quadrant. Upon visual inspection, I found one of the emitters was not fully seated, L14. I'll never forget that designation.
Why, Mom? What's the significance of L14?
I'm getting there. Before I could fully think it through, I reached out and gave L14 a little nudge. Not much of one, but enough to gently pop back into place. My follow-up readings showed a 100% match.
Oh my.
You had mentioned there was an exact match when we last spoke.
Shortly after that happened, my old comm badge from the Daystrom Institute chirped. I kept it in my carrying bag as a connection to where I came from, I guess, because I didn't bring much else with me besides the clothes on my back. The chirp was interesting, but I didn't think much about it beyond that. My time was up, but Brenda was nice enough to give me more time today.
I wonder what triggered the badge.
I should have asked that question sooner so I had more time to process it all, but I didn't. During my visit this morning, the temporal equipment had been powered on, and the signature was still a 100% match. Then my old comm badge chirped again. I discovered it was because it was initializing after connecting to a standard subspace communications protocol used by the Daystrom Institute prior to the last upgrade. This was the protocol used during my time period 20 years ago. It was coming through the temporal equipment.
Contact was made between two disparate points of time, a very touchy occurrence to ethically navigate in temporal studies. And that got you kicked out?
If only that was where it stopped. No one had thought to look into the effect of the machine on subspace because it was never factored into the equations governing its functions. Theoretically, it should not have had an impact, but as I accidentally discovered, it did. I also soon determined that it would work both ways. I could potentially send a signal back to 20 years ago.
Oh, Maria.
It gets better. Not only 20 years ago, but to less than an hour before my transporter accident. I knew there were ethical conflicts. I reminded myself of that, but the temptation was so strong. I love you, Jeremiah. You too, John. But I miss the life I had, the young son I had, the husband I had, and the clock was ticking down on the only opportunity I had to hopefully set it all straight. This was my chance, and I seized upon it.
You should never have been put in that situation in the first place, Maria. I am sorry for the role I played in getting you there.
This is all on me, John. I made my choices on my own.
What did you end up doing, Mom?
I sent a message back in time. Not just any message, because I knew the past me wouldn't believe it if I just reached out bluntly and said, "Leave." I sent back a simple entry on my calendar timed just a few seconds into the future that simply said, "Home."
Home? What's the significance of that?
I would often get lost in my research at the Institute, but I was governed by my schedule. I would schedule reminders to go home so I wouldn't overstay. I knew if the reminder popped up, there was a strong likelihood that I would end what I was doing and simply go home. Go home away from the reach of the transporters and temporal lab accident.
Sadly for you, it didn't work.
No, and within seconds alarms started blaring, and Dr. Egan came running into the room asking what I had done. I had triggered some alarm with my actions. According to Dr. Egan, a similar alarm would have been triggered 20 years ago. My entry message never even made it to my calendar. 20 years ago, emergency procedures were shutting down the temporal studies equipment, purging the data, and preparing to destroy the equipment to preserve the timeline. Dr. Egan spent the good part of almost an hour trying to prevent it from happening. It was not the ethical thing to do on his part either, but his life's work was about to be destroyed.
And his efforts triggered the explosion and subsequent power surge that caused your transporter accident.
Precisely, John. Ultimately, I am the cause of all of this. If I hadn't sent those 4 letters home, back in time, none of this would have happened.
Oh, Mom.
Temporal loops are dastardly things. The way I see it, there is plenty of blame to go around. If Dr. Egan had behaved ethically and allowed the alarm protocols to play out, the explosion would never have occurred. If James hadn't kept your lab on Mars in place all these years, you wouldn't have had a destination. If I hadn't arranged to get you into that lab, you never would have had the opportunity you just had.
And if we hadn't powered on the transport pod in your lab, you wouldn't have had a signal to lock onto through the temporal foam. We all share a little collective blame.
You guys are so wonderful. If only guilt were that easy to get over. In hindsight, what also bothers me is that during the entire event this morning, I never asked God for his help nor guidance even once. I took on his role by trying to change time and an entire universe all by myself. The Lord's Prayer says, "Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." I never even asked him.
You have a lot to unwrap here, Maria. There will be an inquiry, I'm positive. As you already know, I am here for you, and so is Jeremiah. The confessional is always open as well.
I know, thank you.
How is Dr. Egan handling this?
Before throwing me out of his lab for good, he asked what I had done. I told him I sent a message back to myself. Just 4 little letters. His face paled as he asked if those letters were HOME. These letters were all he had been able to recover from the corrupted data after the incident. They had haunted him all these years, wondering what they meant. Now he knows.
Wow.
And that emitter I popped back into place, L14. He had done the exact same thing 20 years ago. That's when the 2 time periods synced up through his equipment in the first place.
You have been listening to VSF Blessings, a Star Trek fan production. Episode 11, Deliverance. Created, written, produced, directed, and audio engineered by James McDonald. Story consultation provided by Noah McDonald. All character voices were generated using 11 Labs AI voice generator. Sound effects from Pixabay.com under free use content licenses and TrekCore.com. Star Trek and all related marks, logos, and characters are solely owned by CBS Studios, Inc. This fan production is not endorsed by, sponsored by, nor affiliated with CBS, Paramount Pictures, or any other Star Trek franchise, and is a non-commercial fan-made production intended for recreational use. No commercial exhibition or distribution is permitted. No alleged independent rights will be asserted against CBS or Paramount Pictures. Until next time, be the good, do what's right, and be the light.